We've worked with a lot of local agencies and we really enjoy it. It's, I like the face, I guess one of the reasons I really like it is you're supporting the local community. But I really like working when you can have a face-to-face meeting, because often that's, you know, if they're local and we can pop round and see someone, you can tell so much more from a face-to-face meeting. And whilst we do a lot over online and everything else, often a face-to-face is the best way of doing it. So some of the different clients we work with locally, I guess one of the first ones we got involved with was Therme Bath Spa. So branding that many, many years ago, wonderful project to get involved with. We were there right at the very start when they were half built. Bath Spa University, we've been working with them for over 11 years now, doing all their recruitment material.
So, because we've been doing it for quite a long time with them, it's not necessarily about tackling massive new problems, it's more refining what we've done before and see what's worked well and what we can improve upon and different ways that we might tackle it. Because we're obviously in Bath and they're in Bath, we sort of like to support the university, and lots of graduates have come through here as well, so it felt right to use graduates and people from the course. So as part of the pitch, it was one of those ideas that came up, so was this idea of space with this window into a lot of things happening. And so that came up, and so we were looking at how cost effective it was actually to cut a hole into the front of it, and which illustrators, we knew that we wanted to use a graduate from the university, but then it was a case of which graduate and how can we work with the university to find the right graduate that would be able to do it. So that was one of the challenges, I suppose. So we found Matthew Hodson and Matthew the Horse, and he was brilliant to work with. And so yeah, he's illustrated lots of sections. We were keen not to just use illustration, because one of the key reasons people come to Bath is because of the city and the Georgian architecture and the campus. So there's those elements, and then there's always a case of working out functionally. There's lots of information. It's a working document that people are picking up to find what course is right. So it's also a job of making sure that the information is laid out in the right way and it's easy to navigate, and just seeing what we can hone from previous years to make sure that's working as well as it can. Really, the way that the whole thing was produced and printed was very different to anything that we'd done before, and also very different to anything that other universities were doing. So that's always a bit of a challenge, but also good to look at different ways.
The West of England Design Forum is an organisation that was set up here back in 2006 by a group of designers and people involved with design that were wanting to get the design community together to help spread the good word about design. One of the things we did, the first thing we did was sort of looking at the branding, you know, and it was even sort of simple things like getting the key message across in we came up with these cards, developed the branding. You know, we developed this little mark which is all about sort of a D for design, but also it was a sort of a speech bubble to get that whole idea of let's have a discussion about design. We created sort of lots of postcards and visual work that we asked lots of illustrators and designers and people in the local area if they would like to contribute the work to help promote the organisation. And that was a fantastic way of getting the design community together, getting them involved and sharing their work and promoting their work. And at the end of the day, that's what the organisation is all about. The projects do include illustration, and I think it's something that we've been using a lot more of, perhaps more recently, in the last few years. I guess it's a way of being, if you can use a specific illustrator for a specific project, it's got a handwriting and a character and a personality that perhaps sometimes photography can't bring into the project.
My favourite part of work on the project is probably collaborating. I do like collaborating with illustrators, and there's an element of excitement. I think quite often as the designer, you're the person that's going back to a client with a bit of a surprise, and you've sort of been given this brief, and there's an element of, you see it on the client's face, of expectation and want it to be right. And I think that's one of the bits that's exciting, really, is getting stuff back, because quite often if you've been really close to something, then you sort of get a bit used to it, and so the elements of excitement are kind of when you get the illustrations back or when you get prints back. And yeah, when you get the final thing back and then you've forgotten about it a little while and you see it in a slightly different way and then it's a bit fresh and you can evaluate it slightly differently, which can be slightly terrifying, but yeah, generally it's good. So I suppose those bits, getting illustrations or getting print back, I find the most rewarding.